I was in a strange mood at home when I decided to stop my own business. My family didn't believe in me and looked down on me as if I had offered something completely ridiculous. But it was an impetus for me to prove that I'm not just like that. The disbelief could be seen in every word when I talked about my idea. They thought it was a failure because they were used to ordinary things, and I wanted something new. My idea was to create a home-cooked dinner delivery service. I believe that people appreciate the convenience and quality of food, and my service will make their life easier. But the family thought it wouldn't work. They said that people cook their own food and will not order ready-made dinners. My family did not believe in the potential of this idea and considered it something strange and impractical. The distrust was obvious. The words, facial expressions, even the tone of their voices expressed doubt that my project could bring success. My conviction in the idea seemed lost in their eyes, and I felt a determination growing inside me to prove the opposite. With the creation of my business, a new stage of my life has begun. My idea, the delivery of ready-made homemade dinners, has become an integral part of my daily work and efforts. But taking off was not as easy as it seemed. The first steps for a test, I developed the menu, selected the team, created unique recipes. But despite the outward confidence, the misunderstanding from the family still smoldered inside me. That distrust was manifested in everything, in unsuccessful attempts to convey the essence of the idea to them, in cold conversations full of skepticism. They did not believe that such a service would be in demand. People are used to cooking themselves. Why would they order the food? They said, creating invisible but solid walls around my ambitions. With each new order and positive feedback, I was getting closer to my goal. But the distrust of my loved ones was still bubbling around like a storm. Their indifference to my success undermined my confidence, but I did not give up. My decisions and dreams were stronger than the shadow of their doubts. Over time, my idea of delivering ready-made dinners not only met expectations, but also turned into a real success. Numerous orders and grateful customer reviews became evidence that my company is not just living but thriving. Gradually, recognition came from customers and the business community. I became the CEO of a thriving enterprise. Day after day, step by step, I built my success by putting all my energy and dedication into it. However, what was especially surprising was that the family, which had previously seemed indifferent to my efforts, suddenly showed interest. Their conversations began to concern my company achievements and even the money I was earning. I began to be visited by relatives who had not shown much attention before. But what made them suddenly pay attention to my success became a mystery that I couldn't solve. Yet, under the shadow of the success of my business, I realized that my family had seemingly returned to my life. The sudden attention and interest in my company created the illusion of warmth and mutual understanding. However, when I looked inside, I saw that this was not a real return of the family, but rather a desire for my status and prosperity. One of the most important things in life is to understand who is really there when you build your goal. When I realized that their interest in my life was caused only by a thirst for material, I felt betrayed and deceived. They didn't believe in me when I needed support, but now that my business was making a profit, they suddenly appeared. My heart was broken, and I realized that these people no longer deserved to be called my family. I decided to detach myself from them and no longer consider them as close. There was a firm decision inside me that my real family is those who have always been with me, supported and believed in my dreams despite the circumstances. When the family saw my determination to abandon them, they decided to intervene and try to justify themselves. The room became tense, and they began to talk about the difficulties they allegedly experienced in the moments of my becoming successful. There were notes of regret. My heart remained unyielding and understanding of their mistakes and their words. However, even at this moment, as I listened to their explanations, my heart remained unyielding. All their words seemed to me just empty apologies thrown aside to preserve their role in my life. I felt that it wasn't real remorse, but just an attempt to come back when they saw that I had created something meaningful. My resolve remained unwavering. They could have changed or not, but I no longer wanted to include them in my life. The thought that they had returned only because of my success caused pain and disappointment. I refused to accept their apologies because they no longer played an important role in my fate. Having decided to break ties with the past, I turned my gaze to those who have always been there, supported and believed in me. Among them, Helen, my devoted employee, held a special place. She was not only a source of support in my business, but also someone who saw me as a person, not just a CEO. Her support felt incomparable. She was there for me in difficult moments, inspired me to new achievements, and shared with me the joy of success. Her attention was sincere, and I realized that I could rely on her not only as a professional, but also as a loyal friend. Something more began to blossom between us. Against the background of disappointment in family ties, new feelings for Helen became a fresh start. We started dating, and each new date claimed that love and support could come from unexpected places. A new stage in my life full of new relationships and prospects became a clear proof that true connections are built on support and mutual respect. The experience of family disappointments pushed me to understand that real happiness does not lie in material prosperity, but in how you influence the lives of others. My company has become an active participant in charity projects. We supported local communities, provided products and services to those in need. This activity has given our business a new, more semantic bias. Participation in charity has given my life depth and meaning. Meetings with those whom we helped filled my heart with joy and satisfaction. I realized that real well-being is not only about personal success, but also about the ability to share your benefits with those who need it. The family, realizing the seriousness of my decision to abandon them, began to comprehend their actions. Shadows of doubt and separation have become invisible barriers separating us from each other. There was an understanding of loss in their eyes, the loss of an important family member. Suddenly, it became clear that something was missing in their lives, and that something was me. My achievements, my new life based on the principles of true meaning, have become unattainable mountains, and now they saw that I had really left, that my decision was final. The family ties that seemed so strong were in danger of being destroyed. They had to face the fact that I no longer considered them part of my family. They realized that they had not just lost the CEO, but had lost an important link in their circle. Meeting with the shadow of the past forced me to face a moral choice that seemed almost impossible. On the one hand, there was my determination to reject the family that insulted me and returned only in search of prosperity. On the other hand, relatives whose actions may have been the result of their wrong decisions and mistakes. But now they realized their loss. Inside me, there was a struggle between my own self-preservation and the desire to return to the roots, to those who were part of my life. Being able to give them another chance seemed like an unexpected twist. I had to make an incredible decision to let go of resentment and disappointment, to give my family another chance or to remain adamant, preserving my new life and relationships built on true values. Despite the internal conflict and even the understanding that the family realized their mistakes, I decided to maintain my independence. The independence that I suffered in striving for success was too expensive for me to jeopardize it again. I realized that even the awareness of mistakes does not always lead to changes. Perhaps they sincerely wanted to bring me back into their lives, but my soul has already found its way. So I rejected their apologies and decided not to go back to the past. My decision to maintain my independence was the final step on the way to new freedom and new opportunities. At that moment, I realized that even if they came to you when you are successful, it does not always mean that they came to you as a person and not as a status. After my final decision to maintain my independence, the family tried to get close to me again. They offered their support, promised changes, and declared that they were now a real family. but my heart was determined in its choice. I heard their words, saw the sincerity in their eyes, but something inside me had already changed. The relationships I built around close friends and Helen had become more valuable and real to me than the ones I could have restored with my family. The family may have changed their behavior, but the lost trust would not be restored with simple words and promises. My heart remained resolute, and I turned down a second chance. Perhaps they would change in the future, but my choice was made in favor of a new path where not only blood ties were important, but also spiritual closeness and mutual respect. Despite the decision to maintain my independence, a strong desire to help my family did not leave me. After learning about the problems with the house, which was pledged, I decided to buy it back. This act was not so much forgiveness as a manifestation of humanity. My feelings towards my family were ambiguous. I could not forget my grievances, but I also could not completely renounce blood ties. However, despite this act of kindness, my inflexibility remained. I was ready to help, but I was not ready to be a part of their lives again. My decision to keep my distance was like a stone driven into the foundation of my new reality. Perhaps it was an act of sympathy, but not a change of my mind. In addition to family difficulties, I paid attention to those who have always been with me despite my success and status. My friends and Helen continued to be a reliable support in my life. Together with them, I built deeper and more meaningful relationships where the value lay not in financial well-being, but in respect and mutual understanding. We shared moments of laughter and grief, rejoiced together, supported each other in difficult moments. In this relationship, I found true happiness that was not related to external circumstances or status. Consciously choosing the path of new and more harmonious relationships, I realized that the true values of human connection are manifested in how we are loved and accepted for ourselves and not for our social status. This relationship became a valuable lesson that a true family is those who support and love you for who you are. With every step in a new relationship, I found happiness and peace, understanding that a true family is not always connected by blood ties. It was a revelation for me. My new family consisted of those who were there when it was really important, who shared the joy of success and supported me in difficult moments. Self-realization in business and deep, sincere relationships became a source of real happiness for me. I realized that the values and connections that we build may be even more important than those that circumstances set for us. The new stage of my life revealed to me that happiness and meaning do not always lie in the usual concepts of family. Sometimes the real family is the one we create around ourselves with those who appreciate us for our authenticity and believe in our true values. Sometimes the decision to renounce the family seems to be the most difficult and painful, but over time I realized that it is important to strive for relationships that bring joy, support, and mutual understanding, regardless of blood ties. It's been 15 years since my decision took its turn. After this time, looking back, I realized that helping the family in difficult moments was the right decision. We have all changed, grown up, and this decision has become part of my personal historical path. I am proud that I was able to give them a chance to correct their mistakes, even if they haven't completely changed. Believing in myself and my principles while remaining an open-hearted person gave me a new perspective on the meaning of family. We all go our own way, and sometimes this path leads us to those who truly appreciate us for who we are. Over time, I realized that life is like building a bridge. Family ties can be complicated, but it is important to remember that a bridge should lead to happiness, support, and mutual understanding. My decision to help my family was not just an act of kindness for me, but also the creation of a new bridge connecting us. The pride in this bridge does not come from the fact that I have become a part of them again, but from the understanding that I was able to make a positive change in their lives. This act has become a symbol of the fact that even if we go different ways, we can still end up on the same shore. Today, I can say with confidence that striving for a relationship based on mutual understanding and respect is worth all the difficulties. Loyalty to my principles has led me to be proud of my history, where every decision, even the most difficult one, has its own meaning and weight in building our own happiness.